Thank you very much, Secretary Austin, Deputy Prime Minister Marles, Minister Kihara. Thank you once again to Secretary Austin for hosting this historic meeting today. It comes after the trilateral meeting between our heads of state in Washington, D.C., and in our case, the visits bilaterally of President Ferdinand Marcos to Australia, Japan, and the United States. The underlying principle of this meeting is a shared respect for a rules-based international order and the upholding of international law. And it is safe to say that four independent countries voicing the same message means an important thing in the face of a unilateral declaration by a single theater actor. And this is what perhaps the symbolic suggestion of four defense ministry and department heads are here today. And in this spirit of upholding a rules-based international order, a free and open Indo-Pacific, and upholding international law, we meet here once again today in the latest iteration of our four countries' multilateral cooperation. We are gratified to see that the Philippines' role as at the forefront of severe challenges to its territorial rights, challenging the accepted norms of international law are accepted by like-minded nations. We welcome their partnership and in cooperation, not only to protect solely its territorial integrity and sovereignty, but to uphold, once again, let me reiterate, principles of international law which guide the global order in the proper way that nations should live amongst each other. On a more concrete note, this latest iteration will give birth to further cooperation and coordination and interoperability between four of our countries, which the four of us have committed to work closer together in order to have more synergies and partnerships, in order to make this alliance that we have stronger and more sustainable in the long run. Also, we look forward to concluding a reciprocal access agreement between Japan and the Philippines so that our interoperability quadrilaterally can be in a more complete manner, can be enforced in a more complete manner. Lastly, we thank Admiral Aquilino of Indo-PACOM for his service to the region, and we welcome working with Admiral Sam Paparo. Once again, thank you, Secretary Austin, for hosting us, and we look forward to more fruitful outcomes in the future as we work closer together, not only in terms of our departments, but in true people-to-people understandings and exchanges. Thank you.
Thank you all, gentlemen. Our first question will come from Phil Stewart, Reuters.
Thank you. Secretary Austin, on Gaza, do you have any credible information that Hamas hopes to target U.S. troops building and eventually operating the pier off Gaza? And then a question on the U.S. and Philippines. To Secretary Teodoro, given recent clashes with China in the Second Thomas Shoal, do you believe it's increasingly likely that you will need to invoke the Mutual Defense Treaty? And what kind of U.S. response would you like to see if a Filipino service member is killed? And just to clarify, Secretary Austin, to confirm President Marcos, referring to your comments, said it would take the death of a Filipino service member to invoke the treaty. Is that correct, that you feel that way, and what makes that threshold the right one? Thank you.
Well, thanks, Phil. Number of questions in there, so I'll try to work my way through them. But first, I think the first question was regarding any credible information that we have that Hamas is going to attack our troops. Of course, I don't discuss intelligence information at the podium, but I don't see any indications currently that there is an active intent to do that. Having said that, Phil, this is a combat zone, and a number of things can happen, a number of things will happen, the safety and security of our troops is very important to me, and so the chairman and I have talked with the combatant commander, General Kurilla, a number of times on what measures he's putting in place. He personally is putting in place to ensure that our troops are protected. And so I think he's done a credible job of making sure that he has the right means in place. Our allies are also providing security in that area as well. And so it's going to require that we continue to coordinate with them very closely to ensure that, if anything happens, that, our troops are protected. The second question I think you asked was regarding our treaty with the Philippines. We've been very clear to everyone, to include Beijing, that the kind of behavior that we've seen where Filipino crews are put in danger, where troops, sailors have been injured, and property damage. That's irresponsible behavior, and it disregards international law. So, Phil, I won't get into any hypotheticals on what could happen and how it could happen. I would just say that you've heard me say, you've heard our president say a number of times that our commitment to the treaty is ironclad, and we stand with the Philippines. And finally, let me just say that, as all of us have said, we're doing historic work with the Philippines and helping them modernize their military. And it's exciting work, and we look forward to continuing to make progress. And today's discussions just highlighted the kinds of things that we need to focus on, that we are focusing on, types of exercises and operations we're going to do to ensure that we increase interoperability. So it's been a very, very fruitful day from that standpoint.
I would like to echo the words of Admiral Aquilino that it would really be counterproductive to delve into hypotheticals. And I, for one, as Defense Secretary, would like to steer away the discussion from a scenario when or in what occasions the MDT may be invoked, when our jobs as secretaries is to make sure that there are no situations through capability building, through deterrence, that an MDT situation would arise. And so we are very conscious of the fact that we need to assert our rights, but in a manner that safeguards the safety of each and every member of the Philippine Armed Force, which is the principal actor in the area. And the talk about MDT sometimes also is exploited in the international press and used sometimes as a bogeyman in order for our countries bilaterally and multilaterally to go forward with legitimate hardening measures for the Republic of the Philippines. So I would stay away from theoretical and hypothetical talks on the MDT, because to me these are counterproductive. It is an agreement, and it will be a political decision at the end of the day of both principally the Philippine government when to invoke it. And I will leave it at that.
Thank you, gentlemen. Our next question will go to Tajima Yoshihiko, Asahi Shimbun.
My name is Tajima from Asahi Shimbun. I would like to ask all of you, sirs, this is the first time that the Secretary and the Ministers of Defense of the 4 countries gathered together to make an appearance for the press conference. And having standing side by side to hold this press conference like this, what kind of message you could send to China?
Is this for all of us? Okay. I'll start. First and foremost, we're here today because we share a common vision, and that vision is a free and open Indo-Pacific. And we believe that our continued work together will continue to promote activities that will help lead to that accomplishment of that vision. And you just heard us talk about some of the work that we're doing together, and I think that kind of work will advance, again, our efforts to achieve the objective. Now, having said that, we're clear-eyed about the challenges that exist throughout the region, and so we'll need to continue to work together to increase interoperability, to make sure that we share information, share intelligence, and again, I think that's the way that you promote security and stability. But that's why we're here, because we share a common vision.
Thank you. Well, in standing here, I think we reflect a determination to work as closely as we can together to pursue our objectives. And those objectives are around what each of these 4 countries stands for on their own and what we stand for together. And that is, as Secretary Austin has just said, a free and open Indo-Pacific. It is the maintenance of the global rules-based order within our region. And we do that as 4 democracies which have shared values. So that we stand here today is actually about us. That is what we are giving expression to in this moment. And I'd make the observation that in standing for a free and open Indo-Pacific, in standing for the expression of the global rules-based order in our region, we are standing for what has underpinned prosperity and security within the Indo-Pacific for decades, which has seen this region of the world experience enormous economic growth and in many ways be the powerhouse of the global economy and has literally seen millions of people raised out of poverty. That's what this is about. This is first and foremost about what each of us stand for collectively. It is about the way in which we work together, and it is about the assertion of the global rules-based order.
Press conference today, we expressed concerns regarding the situation in East and South China Sea. However, this statement is not directed towards any specific or particular nation. And it is towards the nations which are trying to change the status quo by force. Based on that, it is urgent that we strengthen cooperation and interoperability with allies and like-minded countries in order to maintain peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific nation. At the last trilateral meeting, we were able to agree to promote cooperation and also interoperability in the area of the defense and peacekeeping and security, and not too far off from the U.S., Philippine, and Japan summit. This time we were able to hold this defense ministers and the secretaries meeting and also hold this joint press conference today. And I would like to continue sending messages throughout the world that us, 4 nations and governments, gather together here today, and will be sending, will be in hand-to-hand to continue making efforts to the realization of free and open Indo-Pacific region, as well as realizing orders based on abiding by the rules.
Here have a common understanding of generally accepted principles of international law, UNCLOS, and the need for a global and open Indo-Pacific. And this common understanding includes the interpretation of these bodies of law, which are commonly accepted, against unilateral appropriations of singular interpretations for the benefit of any one country. For the Philippines, this is particularly important, being a small archipelagic nation, where our integrity as an archipelagic country and as a political and legal whole depend on the world's acknowledgement of its baselines under international law. And this is not only a question of legal or political importance, but being a country with a growing population, with climate change challenges, this is essential for its sustainability and for the sustenance of our future generations. So generally, we are fighting today for the betterment of future generations of Filipinos. And that is the fight for us, which we appreciate, because it falls under the context of a rules-based international order that the three countries are supporting us in our common quest for already commonly understood definitions of international law, particularly in the maritime domain. This is the message that I interpret this meeting to be.